All right. Good evening, everybody. How's it going? Jared Sebesta here. Hope you're having a great day and a great evening here so far. I did want to pop online here just a little bit and just check in with you guys. And there was something I wanted to bring to you. I wanted to bring you a story of my friend LaNay. LaNay is a good friend of mine. Her and her husband, Andrew, live in southern Minnesota. And they are farmers. They live on a homestead. They have 2 kids. They have multiple businesses. And they have had a rock'em sock'em year here in the last year or so, and they're on a journey. And I have gotten to know them and befriend them and see their journey. And I wanted to bring their story to you guys and share how you can do some of the things that they've done, where they've seen expansion and growth in so many areas of their own life, and how you can do the same, and really how you can even walk into a new identity, kind of like some of the things that they've done. So they've seen some radical changes in their marriage, radical changes in their home, radical changes in how they raise their kids, radical changes in how they're making money. And so I'm really excited to bring you her story here tonight. Before I do that, I just want to remind you, I've got my next Life Undeferred 30-day boot camp coming up in a couple of weeks. In fact, 2 weeks from last night on June 1st. And the first time I did this was back in April, and LaNay was nice enough to believe in me through this pilot program. This first time I was doing this 30-day boot camp, and she was an absolute rock star through this boot camp. So some of the things that she learned from that boot camp, she's going to talk about here tonight. But I'm excited to say that that is going to be coming up again in June. And this is going to be a 4-week program, 30 days, simple offering, and I'm offering an early bird special at $147. And this is going to last for the next week. This will expire 1 week here from today. After that, the price is going to go up $100 to $247. All right. Now, the way that you get in, by the way, I'm capping this at 25 people. So I'm going to keep this super duper small and really, really like small group, big impact style. If you go to my website, jaredsebesta.com, this is what it looks like. It's just my name.com, jaredsebesta.com. You'll see this little tab here at the top. It says 30-day boot camp. Go ahead and click on that. And when you click on that, you can read about all the details as to what this is all about. But the bottom line here is, if you want to jumpstart the rest of your 2024, if you feel like you're stuck, you feel like time is slipping away, Life Undeferred at its core is really all about not wasting time. I was at my lowest when I felt like I was wasting time, and I hate wasting time. But do you feel like time's passing you by, like you're stuck and you don't know where to start? We're going to knock this out in 4 Tuesdays of June, starting on June 4th. There's going to be 4 Zoom calls from 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time. And you can see the layout there. We're going to talk about unlearning stuff, how to answer what I call the most important question, developing 3 priorities, making massive yearly goals, and then breaking down that into yearly and quarterly chunks that will get you building momentum in your life like you've never seen before. And then how do you break that down even further into the dailies and the weeklies? I'm a big fan of a Sunday night meeting. And how do you break that down into small wins each and every day? And this is the roadmap that I have incorporated to change my life. If you follow me on social media, likely you have and are if you're watching this, but this is the exact roadmap I've used in the last year and a half, and it has radically changed my life. And this is exactly what I teach other people to do in their lives as well. Again, scroll down. You can read some of the testimonies. LaNay's testimony is on here, but I encourage you to go check this out. I was hoping to get 25 people for this program the first time, and the bottom line is I got 43 people to believe in me through this, and it was so much fun. You can read about my story. Guys, if you feel stuck, I know how you feel. I felt stuck as well. Coming out of COVID were 2 of the worst years of my life, 2020 and 2021, and I felt so stuck, anxious. I was probably depressed in a lot of ways, and I made a conscious decision I was not going to let fear dictate my life anymore. And that decision led to another decision and another choice and another book and another conversation, another conference. And through that, again, a lot of you watch me in this journey, radically changed my life. Every facet of my life has changed, expanded, and growth, even my physical life. I'm in the best shape of my life at 45 years old. And I really haven't focused a lot on that. It's been a byproduct of really getting my mind right and getting super intentional. All right. And one byproduct of doing this, by the way, is when you get super intentional, it's like you slow down time. Again, time should not be wasted. Life should not be wasted. And when you get hyper intentional, it's like you slow down time. There's the early bird special right there, 147. It will go up to 247 after this week. On Wednesday of next week, that early bird special will drop. The price will go back up to 247. I already have a large group of people signed up. And if you want to get in on this camp that's starting on June 4th, now is the time to get started. Again, go to jaredsebesta.com and click on boot camp. All right. I'm so excited to introduce my guest here today. Her name is LaNay. Her and her husband, Andrew, farm in southern Minnesota. They live on a homestead. They have 2 wonderful children, small children. They have multiple businesses. I want to let her describe a little bit more of what she does, but she's an absolute rock star. I've had a chance to get to know her so much more here in the last couple of months, and it's been such a pleasure to take this journey along with you. But I want to introduce LaNay to everybody. LaNay, thanks for joining me here tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me tonight, Jared.
Well, again, you are just on fire, and I love talking to you. I get energy whenever I talk to you because your life is changing in real time, but has changed a lot, I would say, probably in the last year, and you probably agree. Just give people a little background how your life looks different today compared to maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah, so like you said, Jared, we have 2 very small children. We have a 2.5-year-old and an 11-month-old. And so that right there, life has drastically changed in the last couple of years. But alongside of that, we have purchased a new business. We have expanded our farm. And I have kind of with some intention, but with not really a plan in place ahead of time or a huge dream to start it, I have started an online platform. It is Homestead on the Hill, and that has just evolved so much. So myself as a mother, our marriage, our family as a whole, our businesses, everything has evolved so much in the last couple of years. And, you kind of met us in a place. So Jared and I have known each other for a long time, probably 10 years, I would say now, as long as I've known my husband. And in the last year or so, you kind of met us at that place of like, man, so many things have happened and we're getting lost in it. So that is kind of where Jared and I connected of like, wait a second, we got to step back and unwind what just happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so it was like life was happening probably at a rate that was maybe outpacing your current capacity, perhaps, to handle it. And then all of a sudden I had this wild hair to start this boot camp. And you were one of the people that signed on and went through the 30-day boot camp back in April. Walk me through what, because I went online probably 2 months to the date and was scared out of my mind to go online and bring this to the marketplace. But you were on that call and you signed on. Why? What was going through your mind to make you make the jump?
Yeah. So, even before that call, Jared and I had been kind of chatting back and forth about, like you said, life was just like happening. I was seeing the things that you were sharing online, and I knew that I was kind of in that growth place too. And, Jared and I hadn't connected a ton about business before this. But I remember reaching out to Jared and being like, I think you can help us. And Jared actually told me, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm qualified. And I said, no, I really think you can. I think we're in the same place of it's not the dollars. It's not the structure. It's not, the taxes or anything else that we needed to figure out with business. It was how this business and our businesses and how our life was going to mesh with 2 small children and businesses that are, growing in different ways. We were in this place of like, wow, what do we do? And that's where Jared stepped in and he's like, hey, I have been on this journey for the last few years. I have developed a roadmap to kind of navigate the mindset and the pieces that are going to, make it all make sense again. I guess is make life make sense again. Yeah. To not live in that place of being reactive, but to actually feel like we had control of what was going on again. And not to say that we're, in control greater than our good Lord is or anything above that. But when you start living just trying to keep up with each day, you start to feel like things are snowballing out of control. And that was kind of the place we were at. So when you started sharing about the roadmap, about life undeferred, it was automatic. Yes, we need to be in on this.
Yeah, I can relate so much to that. When I was at the peak of my TV career, again, when I appeared to have it all, had everything life by the tail, that's when I actually felt the most out of control. And that really, really woke me up. A lot of people ask me why I left TV. I don't share that a lot with the public, but like I really felt like life was getting away from me, where years were clicking off the clock. And I don't consider myself old, but a couple of years clicks off the clock a couple of times, all of a sudden a decade rolls off, and next thing you know, you're 46, like me. Like, what happened? What happened? So, talk about your experience through the boot camp. What were some of the things that you picked up on? You mentioned your husband Andrew was a little, I don't want to say skeptical, but maybe a little bit of real friction or resistance there. What did he think, and how did he react as well?
Yeah. So when we started talking about it, one of the first things that my husband said to me was, this stuff is really hard for me. And for myself, this stuff, I wouldn't say it comes easy to me, but it excites me. I love anything that's going to make me grow. I love anything that's going to challenge me. And my husband is very much a blue collar worker. And so he will tell you, I will go and bust my butt every single day. And I will, nose to the grind. But when I have to put thoughts and things together down on paper and have to try to process those things, that doesn't come easy to him. So the fact that he even said he was willing to try, I knew it was going to be good. I knew that we were going to see progress as long as we showed up, we sat down together, and we went through the steps, because we'd already seen that it was working. I mean, we've seen how your life has evolved in the last few years. We've had the conversations. I mean, we had full faith in that it was gonna be a benefit. And as far as what was the biggest piece in the boot camp for us, it was definitely evaluating our identity. Mm-hmm. So on the very first night, Jared, you had us write down who it was we wanted to be on December 31st, 2024. And jokingly, at first, what came out of my husband's mouth was, I want to be dad of the year. And so I just wrote it down. I just started writing. I said, we'll evaluate it later. That's what came out of your mouth. I'm writing it down. And as I started writing things down, it came down to, I wanted to be energized again. I wanted to be excited again. And not just excited about the day, but excited about serving my family and serving others. Because with 2 small children at home and a husband, my days are filled with service, which is a huge part of my role. But I was starting to become resentful of being servant-hearted, and even to others outside of my home, because I was so just overwhelmed with keeping up with the snowball. And so that was the big piece. But as we started to dive each step into that, okay, taking that identity, looking at our priorities, and then breaking those down into how do goals relate to that, and not just business goals, but family goals, personal goals, and how do they all relate back to our identity and that person that we wanted to become. That joking statement of my husband saying that he wanted to be dad of the year, it wasn't so much of a joke. It was the reality that this last year we had lived. My husband felt like he didn't have control of his time, which then, if he wasn't controlling his time in the business side of things, he wasn't getting to be present as a father and as a husband that he truly wanted to be. And so the joke wasn't a joke. It was the reality of what we were facing, that he wasn't able to be as present as he wanted to be.
Yeah, that identity piece is so huge. And in full disclosure, I didn't understand how big that piece was. Even when we started it and I was teaching it, it became a very much a reoccurring theme throughout the 30 days of our boot camp back in April. But talk about how you guys have kind of stepped into that identity, and how I always say the goal of the goal isn't the goal. The goal of goals isn't to just check a box. It's to shed off the things that hold us back and prevent us from stepping into that true identity. Talk about kind of where you are now, and he's now kind of stepping into that role and believing it. I think you would say, in your words, talk about your guys' identity shift since then, and since even April.
Yeah. So for myself, it was very much looking at that identity and realizing that I have full control of that, and it all is here.
Mm-hmm.
It was the realization that I can wake up each day, no matter what happened the day before, no matter how our son slept that night, no matter how I feel that morning, I have the choice to set my mindset. I have the choice to live out that identity, and that I can start living in that identity today. I don't have to wait for a someday when all of a sudden I feel like being energized and I feel like being excited to go and serve others. I can make that decision today that, you know what, I'm going to show up with as much energy as I can. I'm going to try to serve my kids and my husband and those around me the best that I can. And man, like, it sounds like, as it's coming out of my mouth now, I'm like, come on, LaNay, like, why didn't you see this before? And you know what? I've been through this roller coaster before, but you know what? Motherhood is a different game. Motherhood and owning multiple businesses, like, we don't go to work for somebody else. We make every decision. And that goes into my husband's side of things, where he has realized now that he is the decision maker, that he doesn't have to allow other people's beliefs or other people's thoughts on how we should run our business dictate how we run our business. Granted, we work with customers and we treat our customers very well, but when he needs to take time to be with his family, that is his decision. Just because somebody else wants to make him feel guilty about that or whatnot, he has full control of that. And that's been the biggest piece for him, is realizing that there's always going to be somebody who's going to be upset with you. And I hate to say that in the world of business, but it is the reality of business. Not everybody is not going to like you. Yeah. And you have to make those decisions for yourself. And those are just not the way that you want to have to look at things. But protecting your space, protecting your own mindset has been huge.
You said something really profound where you said he realized he had choice, and you said it as well. I've realized I have a choice. I think so many people get stuck because they falsely believe they don't have choice in this life, and you do. And I'm here to tell you that. And that, again, that's very profound for me personally, because I grew up most of my life feeling I didn't have a choice. I was just a result of the world. And it's such an empowering stance to take when we say, you know what, this is who I want to become, and I have a say. I get a say in that. And I think that you're experiencing the fruit of that. We even talk a lot about in boot camp and other groups, we're just talking about like speaking the present over ourselves. Again, I go for a morning gratitude walk and I say, whether I feel it or not, like, I am on a journey that is good. I am a good father. I make mistakes, but I'm a good husband, and I'm a provider, and I'm healthy, and I'm worthy. And it sounds kind of like, it sounds like Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, like, I'm good. And it's like these daily affirmations, but I got to tell you, man, there's something to it. And so again, you're reaping the benefits of that. And again, I'm so proud of you guys because you're young. I mean, I'm not gonna give away your age, but knowing that
my husband is not.
Stop it. But to know that at your age, the trajectory you're going to have, just talk about how do you view the future? Like, talk about your excitement, not to say that you don't have down days and you don't have sleepless nights because you have small kids. I know what that's like, very much so, but just talk about that excitement of waking up every day and living a life that is exciting and exhilarating. You're experiencing that, right?
Yeah. And it's so cool to step into it. And it hasn't been necessarily that way. Like we talked about, it hasn't been that way a ton in this I could even say this last year, but making that shift now. And I will tell you the number one thing that we've noticed in like you say, kind of having that excitement about life again and actually like wanting to get up in the day is my husband and I, our communication, our demeanor towards one another. We're much happier people to one another. There isn't that like that just friction that is there when
Negative
you're not.
aura or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't know that you can put a word to it. But when your spouse and you are exhausted and you're not excited about the days and you're just trying to get by, it creates this like cloud over your home.
Mhm.
And you wake up each day, you just kind of look at each other, you go through the motions, you ask what you need to do for the day, you come home at night, you crawl into bed, you fall asleep, and you get up and you do it all over again. Now, there's almost every night of the week that we're coming home and he's excited to tell me about what he accomplished in the day. He's excited to tell me about the conversations he had. He'll text me and say, "Hey, I achieved X, Y, and Z," which was like, one of his healthy habits. We talk a lot about the daily small wins, and I can text him and say like, "Hey, I accomplished this today. I made this big scary move today. I made this decision, or I sold XYZ or whatnot." But there's just a different excitement. We're celebrating the little things, and that brings just joy and excitement back into the home. And my whole like being, like, I am a joyful liver. I don't even know if that's a joyful liver, if that's even a way to explain something, but I love to live joyfully. I love to radiate joy to everybody that I see. I want people to come into conversation with me and leave feeling more joyful. Like, that is my goal. I was not feeling that way before we started the boot camp. I was quite the opposite. So that is what is exciting now.
Awesome. I love it. And again, I can relate on so many levels because some people's propensity, their default emotion is like joy, peace, and it's just not mine. It just hasn't been mine for years. And so again, this has been a transformation for me as well. And it is I don't know how to, I'm still processing it like you because I'm living it in real time. But the difference is that I have bad moments. I may even have a bad day. But old Jared, as we've talked about in boot camp, old Jared would have bad weeks, entire bad seasons. And I just don't have those anymore. And when you do that, and you would attest to this, when you live in that funk, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
And if that's when you feel life is now getting away from you. And I'm so proud of you that you've awakened to this different way of life and this new opportunity, which is the invite for people. Just talk to people. Again, it sounds like your mindset shift and the way you think has been the biggest thing, stepping into a new identity, getting much more intentional with your life and your time. It's opened up doors between you and your husband, open communication, and just an overall aura is different. Just talk to that person that like feels stuck, whether they're 20 or 40 like me, or in their 50s or 60s, who think like they just can't ever make change. What would you say to that person?
There's always a choice. You have the full will to make a change, to make a choice, to make things different. And it all starts here. Mm-hmm. You have to be willing to change your mindset, and nobody can do it for you. You have to be willing to take that step yourself, and you absolutely have everything that you need to do it. Find somebody who will walk alongside of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's like a foundational truth that we talked about so much in boot camp, was that I don't think people understand everything that you need. You have the gold is inside. You've been meticulously made by a divine creator. You don't have to go and search for it. All you got to do is find it. And that is again such an empowering thought. If even for you, like where you come to that realization, like yes, I can read books and do classes and have mentors and stuff like that. But really the core isn't to go find his way or their way. It's just to discover what I already have. What a crazy paradigm shift for people to gravitate to. And again, you're getting that. So congratulations.
Yeah. I think so often we start something because, we believed in somebody else.
Mm.
But until we fully believe in ourselves, we're not going to live it out. We're going to quit. So there's so much value in that. And you're worth it. Your family's worth it. The people around you are worth it. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people around you. I mean, I promise you will reap the benefit.
Amen. Amen. I love that. Let's wrap this up. By the way, if you're not following LaNay on Instagram, Facebook, you need to. She is an absolute rock star, and she throws out so much content. Boy, if you want to understand like how to market and brand yourself online, she's got some online games. So at the very least, follow her, because you can have some tips on how to brand and build your own online business. But tell people where people can find you and kind of what you're all about online.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, is by far the best platform to find me. It's hh.homesteadonthehill. And there we are talking all things, farming, homesteading. The main goal is to help people eat good food and find joy in it again. You can most certainly grow, raise, preserve, cook really good food, and your family can love it. Of course, I am sharing everything from our farm and homestead, so there's never a dull moment. You get all the motherhood craziness. My husband likes to share his perspective on things, and we also share a little bit of our journey, as my husband's side of the family has celiac disease, so that certainly gets incorporated. And it's crazy to me. I never thought there was very many other people living in that gluten-free world, and that has certainly changed. So I always make sure to share that. If you need something gluten-free, come on over to Homestead on the Hill. Would love to help you with that. And on Facebook, I am also just Homestead on the Hill. That is my business page. So either place you can find me, and would love to connect. Really, the joy is in getting to meet new people. I've met some of the best of friends through those platforms.
If you are a mom, a wife, and want to provide healthy food and a healthy lifestyle for your kids and your family, follow LaNay. I'm not, clearly, yeah, but like I said, I love you as a friend, but it's also just insanely entertaining to follow you, because you share a little bit of everything, and it's really fun to see the behind the scenes on a farm, and all the happenings that are going on. So again, I'm proud of you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. But I just love watching you and Andrew and your family thrive. So I appreciate you taking time and sharing your story with us here tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Jared. And thank you for all you have done for us as well. So
I love it. My pleasure. We'll catch up next time. All right, LaNay, thank you so much.
Have a good night. Bye.
We'll see you. All right. So there's LaNay's story. I hope you found that. Inspirational, and you connected with LaNay. She is, again, like I said, a rock star in her family, and she is growing and expanding so quickly. It's just so fun to see her and her family reap the benefits of changing their mind, like getting into their true identity. And that's really what this boot camp is all about. When I started Life Deferred last year, my vision for it was like, maybe people have more life experiences and do more things and connect with their families more. And it has grown to so much more than that. It's really turned into a discovery of yourself, a discovery of the gold that's inside, a discovery of the song that's already been there. And one of the biggest tragedies in life is that people take that song to the grave and they don't fully express themselves. I'm not a hopeless romantic type. I'm not a poetic type. But I do find this inspiration and connection of letting the song out. Man, there's nothing more beautiful than watching somebody come out of their own shell and almost discover who they are. And again, you have it. So if you want to jump on board, this next boot camp is coming up on June the 4th. It's starting in just under 2 weeks. And the way that you can get into this next boot camp is by going to jaredsebesta.com. When you go to jaredsebesta.com, click on 30-day boot camp. Again, this is starting on June 4th. It's going to run for the 4 Tuesdays in June. And I do have an early bird price at $147, which will last for another week until the day after Memorial Day. After that, the price will go up to $247, and I am capping this at 25 people. I already have a pretty large handful of people in this already. So if you want to get in, now would be the time to save your spot. I think the T-Wolves are playing here shortly. We've got some people on here live. Thanks for watching. LaNay, again, thank you for joining me here tonight. I'm going to let you go here. If you have any questions about the boot camp, please let me know. Jared@jaredsbest.com. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to chat more about how I can help you, and we'll see if this boot camp is right for you. But I can almost guarantee it. It'll be a game changer for you. It will move the needle. It will push you into a deeper level of yourself. What a wonderful gift you can give yourself, you can give your family, and you can give the world. The stakes are higher than ever. Get out and shine light in a dark world. Yes, experiences are great. Yes, making more money is great, but shining light is the best. And letting your light shine is what it's all about. If you got questions, hit me up. I would love to chat more. I'll end this stream now, but remember this. Go sign up first of all, and go Wolves. Let's go.